already. And if we don't have it...
And welcome back to Wainwright for the 2022 Alberta Junior B Provincials on HN Live. I am Dave Dawson. Pleasure to be joined by the president of the Heritage Junior Hockey League, Mr. Ian Hall, who has to be a happy guy right now because both of his teams are undefeated this weekend. Ian, thanks so much for making time for us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So the Cochrane Generals and the Okotoks Bisons both have had a pretty good tournament so far. What do you make of what you've seen?
Yeah, I like what I've seen so far. I don't think you've seen the best yet from both teams. I think they're just warming up, but Okotoks' big comeback win this morning, or tie, I guess, wasn't a win, but looked like a win anyways, coming back from 6-2 in the third to tie it up at 6, and Cochrane's looking pretty good tonight, so I'm just hoping they've both finished first or second, so we got a shot of a HJHL All Finals.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? There's been a lot of talk about that potentially this weekend, but that game, wasn't that chaotic, that 6-2 game?
It was crazy. It was, like Okotoks lost their composure, and, then Sherwood Park got the lead and then got up to 6, and then whatever reason they got lucky with Okotoks, got a lucky goal, and then Sherwood Park lost their composure, and then boom, it's 6-6, and almost won it with like 10 seconds left there. So
isn't that the incredible thing about this caliber of hockey, though, Ian? When you look at some of the best there are in the province, the top 8 teams, it really is indicative of not taking anyone for granted, is it?
Absolutely. As you've seen, it doesn't matter who the teams that lost yesterday came back and won today. So, I think it's very competitive once you get to the top 8, and I think anybody can win on any day, and especially in a tournament like this. It's a little different for everybody. They don't play tournaments throughout the season, so you come ready to play that one game and your goalie's hot and magic happens.
Yeah, like we saw Calgary beating Wainwright 8-5, and they're out now this weekend. So I guess the March Madness brackets, the April Madness brackets are busted, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No April Fool's jokes anywhere, but Ian, it's been an incredible year for the Heritage League. Obviously, 2 really, really strong teams here overall. And maybe for those watching who aren't familiar with the Heritage Junior Hockey League, good time to toot its horn. What do you like the most about the product and what you guys have?
I think it's just the competitiveness that we have throughout the top, say 8 or 9 teams. I think there was, the playoffs were amazing. We went to Rocky, and Rocky was expected to just get swept because, Cochrane had kind of run the table, and Rocky took him to Game 7, and that barn was packed and hopping. And, and same thing in Cochrane when Cochrane and Okotoks played in the final. That building was packed too. So my hope is that those same fans come back and watch the start of the season next year, because it's great hockey. It's just not enough people get out to see it. So,
Ian, you and I did an interview about a year or so ago, coming out of the pandemic, and kind of some of the struggles, I guess, everyone has faced, and some of the situations you were facing. And naturally, there were a little bit of difficulties, right? Not all the leagues were in favorable positions. How would you rate kind of how the Heritage League has kind of found its way through and entered into the 21-22 season?
Yeah, it's difficult. We had 2 teams that had to take the year off this year just for COVID reasons and couldn't get a team going. So, we had to kind of rebalance the schedule and get things going. But once we got rolling, everybody pitched in and helped out, and usually the noise was down to a minimum, I would say, this season, and everybody's just happy to be playing hockey again. So that's the best part. Absolutely.
And yeah, you mentioned not being able to be at the games and be able to have a watch. We did some games with the Rocky Rams this year as well. And what's the advantage of having being able to, some of the Cochrane and the Okotoks fans being able to watch the games from home, considering where the technology is today, right?
Yeah, it's huge, and it's something we've been talking about as a league. Obviously, we've been talking to you guys. You guys do a great job, and this is the key to what we need to do in the future, is broadcasting like this. People can see this product and see these teams out here and see what the league's about, and hopefully bring in more interest and more kids, right? At the end of the day, we're all looking to grow teams, grow kids, and let them move on to the next level or do whatever they want to do. But we need to get the word out there and let teams see, or people see, what we can do.
Yeah, and I think naturally some of the you talked about Stettler, Pinoka, situations like that, and the common conversation, even chatting with the Generals president, is the willingness of the league to help other franchises. Sometimes you don't see that as much in other leagues, where it's stealing players here, maybe stealing players there. If that happens, potentially it might. There really does sound like a bit of a family aspect in the Heritage League. You know what, we kind of want to help you out. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, I think it really happened last year when we could only play 6 or 7 games. I think a lot of people were just happy to be back this year, and then we grew this year. We added 2 teams, and we were going to start with 16 and ended up back at 14. But everybody pitched in and helped out. Like I said, we're all happy to be playing hockey again. But for us, to be successful as a league, everybody has to help everybody, and that's the only way we work.
You know what would be helping the league out? A Cochrane and Okotoks provincial championship. Wouldn't that be something?
I'd be all right with that, yeah. Look good.
Ian, really appreciate you coming on tonight, and naturally we are very excited about what the future can look like, and thanks so much for making time. And I know that you're not the biggest fan of interviews, so I really appreciate you coming on, so I'm not going to take too much of your time, but thanks so much for your time tonight.
No, absolutely, and thank you guys for broadcasting this. I think that's huge, and like I said, getting the word out and getting this show out there so people can see these great teams and the great hockey that's played, I think is important. So thank you.
Well spoken, great individual. Always love chatting with Ian Hall, the Heritage Junior Hockey League president. And yes, potentially one of his teams could remain undefeated again coming in, but a lot of hockey left to be played tonight. We'll leave Michael Menzies and Brett Murray to tell the rest of the story. So stay with us for the rest of this game for the 2022 Alberta Junior B Provincials from Wainwright.